on the variation of the cleft lip and palate. So people who, okay, let's talk about UCL because that was my own personal experiences. So when you first go for your surgeries, it's usually the cleft lip repair. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and you can do that at 3 months when the baby is healthy and things like that. Okay, so when you go for your cleft lip repair, it also affects your nose, remember, but you cannot do all the surgeries at one go. Okay,
Yes.
like I said, I had to go for 8 to 10 surgery. So going to school at the age of 7 in standard 1, my nose was still not balanced, my lip was still not refined. So that is when your peers or the children in school can see the difference. Remember, it is a gradual transformation. Okay, at that point of time, even now, if I don't wear a cover stick, people can
Yeah.
still see my scars. Okay, because it was quite a wide cleft.
Yeah.
And when you go to school at the age of 7, again, let's talk about refinement. So in
Mm-hmm.
surgery, you have the repair work, okay,
Yes.
where you repair the broken lip and when you repair the broken palate, so to speak. Okay, but usually the refinement work or the revision, which what I mean was that to maybe your rhinoplasty work or the refinement, the augmentation of the scar, augmentation of the lip to make it more balanced, will only come at the age of 16 or 17 and above. Because why? The face stops growing. So my refinement came in at the age of 17 and above. Okay, where again the augmentation of the lip, the revision of the scar. So going to school from the age of 7 to 17 before the revision was pretty tough on me because, hey, I was different, and that is when I was bullied a lot, I was called names a lot, and to answer you, it was a quite a tough childhood.
Yeah. That's a very long trial that you have gone through, and especially with the surgeries. It's 8 to 10 surgeries that you're telling me. So
Yeah.
one surgery scares me away, and this is 8 to 10. So you definitely had a strong willpower that thing. And maybe how did your parents deal along together with the CLP with you? How was your journey together with you?
Well, you see, now, what's great about now, there is a fantastic support group.
Mm-hmm.
On Facebook, we also have the Malaysian CLP support group. We also have I belong to also the American support group. So people are sharing, people from the same experiences are sharing their stories and giving motivation, giving inspirational stories to one another and supporting. But during my parents' time, when I was born in 1960s, as you know, there were no Facebook, there were no WhatsApp, and now with the internet, if a child is born with a CLP, people can just Google and they can find the nearest plastic surgeons, whether it's a private, whether it's public, everything is so accessible. So during that time, my parents, I would say, had it quite a tough time. And now, gynecologists can do scanning before the child is born to ensure that the baby is where there's any situation or problem, and if the child is having a cleft lip, they can actually
Mm-hmm.
find it. The gynecologist can scan it and can tell the parents earlier. But during my time, there were no scanning, so it was a tough time for my parents. But they did a fantastic job. They spoke to a lot of people, whoever they knew at that time, and they brought me to see all the various, plastic surgeons, EIE, and all that. So, I salute my parents for having that, that inner strength. And I was the firstborn, mind you. So going to the labor room, not knowing that your child had a CLP was not easy. And my
Yes,
mom was
definitely.
only 22 when she had me, and my father was only 23 when they had me. But now
Considered
again, it's
young.
different. People are changing, the mindset is changing, and
Yes.
amazing support group. I belong to a WhatsApp group of cleft adult community, and again in the group we are all sharing our stories and just giving each other the moral support that's needed.
That's great. That's
That,
great to hear that thing, and
mm,
that your parents are very strong in fact to get through the journey with you, dealing with CLP, and so much. So, you look totally very beautiful today.
yeah,
The
thank you.
deformity does not,
Uh,
very closed. It looks very positive to see you today, that thing.
Thank you
And
so
just to
much.
know that you're also, when I came across a few articles that have been published on you, you're a social activist on anti-bully as well.
Yeah.
I pretty much believe that this is because of your past experience that you had to go through with the physical differences that you had. So maybe you can share with the audiences a little bit on how that you dealt with these bullies throughout the time.
Well, when I was a young child,
Mm.
the only thing that I could do was talk to my mother about it. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but always on interviews, I always say that we never really had a heart to heart talk. We never really had a soul to soul talk. I would say to that mom, I've been bullied, or somebody called me names because my late father at that time, put me in two schools. So one was the Ugama, Sekolah Ugama, and the other was the Sekolah Kebangsaan. So
Mm-hmm.
depending on the on the semester, I would go to school to environment, maybe in the morning sekolah agama, afternoon sekolah kebangsaan, or vice versa. And I would be called names at both environment. Okay, go to agama school in the morning, come back, change, and then go to the kebaan school, and I'll be called names. So it was very tough. So what I did was I talked to my mother, and there were occasions when I would tell her that, Mom, I don't want to go to school because I don't want to feel hurt. It is very
Yes.
painful as a young child. You
Mm-hmm.
know that you look different, but when people start calling you and mocking you, and this mocking or this emotional bullying would come in various forms. Sometimes they will call you
Yes.
in front of other people when you're playing with your friends, or sometimes when you're alone waiting for your car, or sometimes when you go to the canteen to buy food. You'll be calling names, and the
Yes.
names I always say was Sumbeng, Singit, and Singal. And like I said, as a young child, it is very traumatized, to be honest with you, and it
Yes.
went on for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I was not able to really talk to anybody about it, so it was bottling me up for the very, very longest time. So the other thing that I used to do was I also did a lot of visualization when I was a young child.
Yeah.
Sometimes what I would do is I would transport myself into a different zone or a different dimension, and I would see Nora at that time. Maybe I was 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I would see Nora looking, different. I would see Nora being happy, and it was like a movie that was playing in my mind, and then that was the only way that I could actually get myself out from being upset and sad, feeling depressed, feeling angry, feeling all the negative emotions into that Nora. So I actually transported myself into another dimension. And only when I was an adult, during my healing journey, when I went to, seminars and workshops, only that I realized that, hey, I was actually harnessing the power of my subconscious mind.
Yes. Yeah.
Because one of the techniques of manifestation is actually visualization. So at that, as a young child, I didn't know that I was actually manifestation what I wanted to be. So
Mm-hmm.
that was the only way I could get out from that emotional negative vibes that I was facing. Yeah.
That's wonderful, Datin, and very positive. And it's great
I
that
don't
you
know
have
how I did it, but
spoken.
no.
It is. It is. In fact, as a normal person, when we get even a slight criticism from a person, or probably getting bullied for a petty reason, we take it
Mm.
very sensitively.
Oh yeah.
And the fact that you have, it's a long journey with CLP, and humans, they just love to judge a person or just love to bully someone. I don't know. They kind of find. Uh, Sometimes I do not know what's the right word. It's like a content. This bully gets like a content feeling when they when they throw out words or criticize someone with with negative words against a person, and the fact that you have built a positive image of yourself and motivated yourself to keep going in life. I think that's something that we are learning today. We are learning with you.
I
So
mean,
that,
talking
yeah,
about bullying is sometimes that would be another topic altogether.
yes,
Okay,
yeah,
but sometimes as a young child, sometimes the children do not understand what they say or what they command to another young child has an effect, because hey, they are children. They
yes,
don't they don't filter what they say.
yeah,
So when I talk about bullying, I would always stress that bullying or this anti-bullying campaign should always start from home. Okay,
yes,
I'm a mother of three, I'm a grandmother. We have to create awareness, we have to educate our children that, you know what, it is not right, it is not appropriate to call people that may look different
yes,
than you
mhm,
names. Okay, so this awareness, it has to come from the home. Okay, to answer you, why do even now we still have cyberbullying and some of them are not children, they are adults, they are, you know, orang dewasa yang love
mhm,
to have all this content about, differences.
yes,
To answer you, I think sometimes, maybe I may be wrong, that in order for them to feel good about themselves, they
yeah,
have to put another person down, and they
yeah,
feel, oh, you know what, I'm better than that person, or whatever it is. But that is not right. That is not
yes,
appropriate behavior, because it does affect the other person that you are mocking. Okay, that's why I said,
true,
can we as society spread more acts of kindness? Can we as society accept all God's creation? I'm not talking about just a CLP. I'm talking about anything. I'm talking about Down syndrome. I'm talking about ADHD. I'm talking about autism. I'm talking about
true,
any kind of differences, and accept everyone as the gift from our, from the Almighty. Can we
yes,
have a more positive society? Can we do that together? Well,
mhm.
let's see. Yet to be seen,
Fingers
right?
crossed, yes. But with the currently changing era, where parents are getting more open when they are listening to their children more, I think probably we are yet to achieve. But I pretty
We
much
try
believe
together
we,
to work
yeah,
together. We try to
yeah,
work together.
yeah, we
Yeah.
should work together. And now coming back again to the part that how bullying and how that you keep yourself positive. Now, many of us, we don't usually. It's almost impossible to build that positive image in ourselves and to refrain away from these sensitive words. And eventually, this will affect our self confidence. We
Absolutely.
start to hate ourselves more.
Absolutely.
We will not accept ourselves, and we try to do something to change ourselves in order we fit in. We fit into to the group, to the superior group that have been criticizing us. So how would you say that what is the best way that we could do to ourselves
You know what? It all depends. If
to
you're talking about
avoid
my
this?
own, okay, we are talking about my own life experiences. Because for me, the emotional trauma was very deep rooted.
Mhm.
Because I was not bullied only once. 'Cause I've spoken to people where they say even if somebody called their name once, they really get affected. Or when you hear somebody talking negative about you, you already get affected. But I'm
Yes,
talking from my own experiences. Mine was very, very deep rooted.
yes,
Okay,
intense too.
so okay, one of the many reasons why I decided to do the book was I wanted again to have a message about, you know what, at the end of the day, you really have to understand the true meaning of self love. To answer you, I
Mhm.
admittedly was not able to accept my birth destiny because why? Of the emotional bullying. I was so scarred, and then I was not able to talk to anybody about it. So I went for a journey searching, seeking answers, and really loving me and really saying to me that, hey, you are born with the CLP, accept it, move on. Okay, you see, even after I've done my external work, after the revision, after the augmentation, I was still, my internal work was not done yet. So I was not aligned.
Mm-hmm.
I was not aligned. So there's no point in us looking. Okay, maybe people say, hey, you know what, you look all right in front, but inside, I was still screaming. I was still dealing with my emotional, my inner demons. So we all have to I think we all have to really, really seek the truest meaning of self-love and accept all your imperfections. Because we are not born perfect, and we all no, I don't, for me anyways, people say is there such word and such word as perfectionism does not exist.
Sure.
We all have our little flaws. We also have our flaws, our strength, be it whatever, accident, but let's all really understand the truest meaning of self love. Because once you have that self love, hopefully you'll not get affected by whoever or whatever people say about you, because
Yes.
you know who you are. You know who you are. Okay, I'm doing it for myself. I am not doing it for other people. But you can say anything about me. But hey, you know what? I know you know who you are,
That's
and that's
amazing. I
who you
know you know who you are.
you know who
That's
you are.
yeah,
It's,
yeah.
it's always an inside job. It's
Mm-hmm.
always because let's face it, we all meet different people. Again, we all meet different. Sometimes it's not the job, but sometimes it's the people around us, and we do meet people that are negative. We do meet people that are positive. So sometimes a negative person will say something to you, and you're going to be affected by it, correct or not. But
True.
hey, if you know I'm here, I to do my job. If I know who I am, you can see whatever you want. I'm not affected by it. I know it sounds difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy, I know. But to me, even in the book, I always say that peace is an inside job. It doesn't come like magic. It doesn't come. You've got to find peace. Once you have peace, hopefully you're not going to be affected by all these external noises.
Our subconscious is always positive. We are always
It takes
positive,
time. It takes
and
time. It takes time to build that inner strength in you, especially when okay a person born with CLP, when they've actually gone through a lot of negativity around them, calling names, and surgeries is another thing, but differently. And then, like I said, even at one stage of my life, I didn't know who I was. I didn't even have my so I didn't know who Nora Abu Hassan was, because everybody around me was labeling me, even
yes.
included educators at that time, at that point of
Mm-hmm.
time. So I had to search for her. I had to go and deep inside to search who is Nora Abu Hassan actually. My
To ask
perception of
is so
me was distorted by surrounding. Yeah.
it's great. It's great, especially the part that you say to ask to seek the purpose of your life, like who are
Mm.
you as a person, and the purpose of your life and what you have to do, and to always keep it going. And that's amazing, Datinora. I think that's truly something that I've been learning through you, and I'm truly sitting here amazed and accepting all this in my mind, because I believe that with time, almost all the time, especially when we face failures when we face failures, we always find it hard to, um, not very hard, but it really depends on the intensity of the failures. But sometimes
Yeah.
when it's, let's say, it's like a startup of a business and we are totally all lost, and to get it back all over again, we sort of like, okay, I'm giving up. I'm giving up at this point of life. And I think the part that you have told to ask who are you, to know your capabilities, to know your ability, it's very strong here. So
In
that thing,
NLP, when you said
yeah.
it's interesting when you said failure just now. I
Mhm.
got you.
Mm,
In NLP,
mm.
there's a presupposition that says there is no failure but feedback. Okay,
Okay.
because a smooth sea never made a skilled sailor.
True.
Okay, right? You're a sailor and it's plain sailing. So learn from our so-called failures, trial and
Mhm.
tribulations, and use that pain to turn into wisdom. I love Oprah Winfrey's quote that says, "Turn your pain into wisdom."
Turn your
There's no
pain
failure
into
for
wisdom.
feedback. We've all learned from all our negative and positive experiences, but if we can actually pin meanings to each of our life experiences, whether is it good, bad, negative, positive, and say, hey, you know what? I became a better person from that experience. And give gratitude to the Almighty for giving me that experience for me to hopefully become a better and wiser person. How can a diamond be a diamond if it's irritated by every rub?
Yes, that's true.
So we are
Beautifully said. Yeah.
yeah.
It is a very in-depth thing, and the part that you say turn your trial, your pain into wisdom. I think that's
Or
very
probably free.
important.
Or probably
Yeah.
free quote me. Yeah, I
I
love
think
her. I love
yeah,
her
that.
story. I love her story.
Hmm. And it's the greatest takeaway for all of us today. I think after sharing the path that you went through, maybe Dathan, you could share with us a little on the most darkest experience that you have faced in life, and how that you have made it held it so strong with your self-acceptance, the self-love, the principle that you have preached all this while, and made it to be so you have achieved tremendous success throughout your journey.
Oh
So
my
maybe a
God.
little experience sharing on your darkest
Well,
side.
I would say my darkest experience, admittedly, when I wrote the book, was really not able to set my birth destiny,
Hmm.
right? And then I knew that I was fighting with my inner demons. And people did ask me, why did you decide to go and look for a solution to seek for external help? I even wrote in the book, if you need external help, do it. And the reason was because it was affecting my relationship with my children. So my darkest side was really then, back then, was not being able to accept my birth destiny.
Hmm.
And I'm going to be candid about it. And I'm going to be real about it. This is not, I'm not going to make up. That was it. And I went for a journey, you know, to seek for answers. And to cut long story short, I decided to give birth to Born to Smile.
Nice,
When people
nice.
ask me why, do you decide to do Born to Smile? I said to myself that maybe out there, okay, CLP or no CLP, maybe there are people who are not self-acceptance is a journey to some people. I'm not saying that everybody have issues with self-acceptance. No, I'm not saying that. But there may be people who have issues with self-acceptance. But if you have this the desire to change yourself, you can achieve. But first and foremost, you have to acknowledge that I have a problem. If you're going to be denying in denial, you're going to wipe it under the carpet. So again, it's always an inside job. I talk to myself. I did a lot of self-reflection. Even as a young child, I was talking to myself, why me? And then why me? And I was talking to I had an imaginary friend, and then I realized that actually the imaginary friend was actually my creator, asking
Mm-hmm.
the creator, why of all people in the world did you give Nora a CLP? I didn't understand that, but now I understand. So I did a lot of, you know, talking to myself. I did a lot of inner reflection. And again, when I was fighting my demons, I said, yes, I embraced that I had the issue. And once I know I have the issue, what else? If you have any issue, do you have to seek for a solution? But only when you acknowledge you have an issue, then only you know that you have to, like when you're not well, for instance, you have gastric or you have a
Yes.
bad migraine, you
Mm-hmm.
go and look for medication, right? You don't want to be with gastric the whole time, or you don't have a bad migraine, then you're going to look for ubat
Mm-hmm.
to release your migraine attack and your gastric attack kind of thing. So I had to look for ubat di luar sana. So
Mm-hmm.
I went on a journey of searching that.
That's amazing that you find your inner self, and that you motivated your inner self to continue seeking um, your path. And that's something that we all have to learn today. To all the audiences, I think that's a really great takeaway, to keep going, to keep questioning your purpose, to keep talking to your inner self and to keep
Yeah,
motivating yourself to
yeah.
achieve success. And maybe Dr. Nora, I think I've taken your time for 35 minutes past. And let me check, is there any questions? Not anymore. Or maybe that thing, maybe a piece of advice from you, your last takeaway that you would love to send out to the audiences on how to keep themselves never to below their self-confidence, either their self-acceptance nor their self-love, which is very important in achieving success.
Okay, I'm going to read a paragraph from my epilogue. I love this. I would say, don't be afraid to change, and don't be afraid to take the steps to change. Be the one who defines you, who you are, even when the whole world wants to do that for you. So self belief is very, very important. Okay, stay away from negative naysayers. Believe in yourself because only you know why do you need to do what you need to do, because only you know your purpose, because nobody knows you, nobody know who you are, nobody know Yama, nobody know Nora, only
Yes.
you know. So it's always an inside job. So define yourself, even though the whole world wants to do that for you.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ratin. Define yourself, and that's the greatest takeaway. I think today we had a long talk. We learned about Datinora on the cleft lip and palate. We learned about your journey. Most importantly, we learned overall about Born to Smile, and I can't wait to purchase the book.
Thank you.
Datinora was telling me earlier, you still have a few copies left. Yeah, and maybe Datin could share a little bit on where they can still purchase it because it's almost finished out of stock,
Okay.
right? It was
Yes.
published and almost sold off in
Yeah,
2019.
it
Yeah.
has been, I've had a lot of support from the public. When I decided to do the book, people did say that who's going to buy your book, and I said we work towards that. If people believe in, the story, I will do the best that I can because I did it out of sincerity. So if people believe, then okay. If they don't, then this is what God has intended to, because there's always a reason. So currently the book is on Shopee, the physical book. I also have a few copies that friends do come and buy. And if people, the audience out there who are into reading a book on your iPad or iPhone, we have actually collaborated with ecentral.com, which is a Malaysian version of Kindle. We have formatted the book into an ebook so they can go onto eCentral's platform and buy the ebook.
Yeah, amazing. So I think that should be very convenient with all the readers who are looking forward to learn about Born to Smile and to learn about the path and journey that you have gone through, Datinora. And perhaps, Datinora, do you have any plans on writing a more series on more book?
People do ask me that. Anything is anything is possible.
Yes.
Anything. But can I say something before we go, if you
Hmm.
don't mind?
Sure, sure,
Okay,
Datinora.
I am a project partner with Ronald McDonald House of Charities. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and we have a Give or Smile. This is their bunting. It's called Give or Smile, and they actually fund. They give financial assistance to the families from the B40s,
Okay.
with the babies born with a CLP from birth right to 18 years of age, where they will, where they need to go and seek treatment. So Ronald McDonald House of Charities will give financial assistance for the children, the babies, to go and see the plastic surgeons, maxillofacial surgeons, the orthodontists, the speech therapy, the ENT, and everything and anything that has to be seen with of a child with a CLP. So please, log on to Ronald McDonald's House of Charities, Give on Smile, and if you know anybody from the B40 community needing financial assistance, please find out. Please log on to their website. Okay. Yes,
That's
that's
a
all I
very
want to do.
noble
Okay.
act.
The awareness, the awareness. Because,
Yeah.
yes, sometimes logistic is an issue. Ronald McDonald's House of Charity will also pay for the logistics and also transportation, especially those children coming from the luar bandar, kampung-kampung mereka
Mhm.
nak pergi ke hospital, kadang-kadang mereka pun tidak ada kewangan. Ronald McDonald's House of Charities will also give that assistance. Yeah, so I wanted to make that. to spread that awareness.
That's amazing and a very noble project that is being done by Ronald McDonald. Good luck to the entire team. I would
Yes.
definitely share more information as what you have
Yes.
mentioned here and share the website. So the B40 is good, or the ones who need it can actually log into and get in touch with Ronald McDonald and the
Correct.
team who are
Correct.
working behind
Yes.
this project.
Absolutely.
So
And
yeah.
spread it around.
Yes. So thank you, everyone. And I hope that you guys had a great session with us today, learning about Nora. And to all those who are viewing this video currently, you could share it to your friends and family. Once again, do not forget to hit on the charity link that I'll be sharing shortly. And thank you, Datin. Thank you so much for sparing your time today for being with us. It's truly great to hear your journey directly from you virtually today. And I can't wait to every day through the stories that you have wrote in
Thank
Born
you.
to Smile.
Thank
Okay.
you.
With
And
that,
thank you
thank
to
you.
you, Yama, for having me, and thank you to BK as well for having me, for inviting me. It is truly a humbling experience, and I had a wonderful, wonderful, amazing chat with you. Thank you again. Thank you so much. I appreciate this.
Thank you so much, Datin. We truly appreciate your time. Okay,
Have a
with that,
great
I'm
day.
about to end the broadcast. Three,
Everybody,
two,
sending love
one.
to everyone.
Bye. Signing
Take
off.
care. Stay safe.